Most real estate agents feel like they're on a hamster wheel, running, and getting nowhere. They're living paycheck to paycheck and deal to deal, just wondering where that next commission is going to come from. I'm Lou Raven, and I built 3 six-figure businesses in under 3 years. I also added 7 figures to my net worth in less than 3 years. This is a presentation that I did to Brook Group Real Estate. It's a team of 50 agents in New England that does between 500 and 700 sales per year. I was speaking to agents of all different production levels, so there's something in here for everybody. I teach you actionable steps to build your net worth, and I give suggestions for books and other resources throughout that can help you along that journey. We built Reinvest with the mission of helping you get from production to legacy. We want a world where every real estate agent has the ability to retire and they don't die with a lockbox in their hand. We're so dedicated to that mission that we created an online community that's completely free and packed with resources to help you grow your real estate sales business. Whether you're a solo agent who's already in production or you're a team leader with multiple agents who's looking to scale and struggling with some of the leadership aspects, there's something in there for you. Visit Skool.com and search for Reinvest Real Estate, and you'll find us. So welcome. This is called 3 Steps to 7-Figure Wealth in Real Estate, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm trying to break down the whole process of becoming wealthy through real estate as simply as possible. So this isn't the make your first dollar presentation. It's not basic baseline, but it does build off of the things you learned earlier today with lead generation and creating your business plan. We're going to do that now from a wealth building point of view. So this is my personal favorite topic. I believe that more money in the right hands will do more good in the world. And I think that we need more good people to be wealthy. And with that in mind, I train from that place and I come from that place. And I think that that's, personally, I think that's like a, pretty good mission to have. Everybody's got a different concept of wealth. Everybody views financial freedom differently. So I can't define for you what wealth is. For some people, it's a number. It could be some other metric. But I want to get kind of some feedback from people in the audience. What does wealth mean to you? Just shout it out.
Freedom of time for me.
Freedom of time?
Yeah, kind of me. I want to be able to do with my time what I want and financially, not have to stress about things and kind of do what I want to too.
Awesome. Cool. Somebody else? Beckham?
No, certain type of lifestyle.
Certain type of lifestyle. Yours is 4-star hotels though. Diamond Club only, All right, so what's that mean though? Like, what's that lifestyle look like?
Be able to go to a lifetime gym membership.
Yeah.
Walk out and you just certain places, go certain places and be able to afford those places.
Okay, cool. Not think about it. You don't care about what you order on the menu, stay in any hotel in any city, any flight.
Trip to London tomorrow.
That's sick. I love it. Who else? DB?
Be as far away from financial instability and trauma as possible.
Okay. Do you mind going into financial instability and trauma just briefly, to whatever extent you're comfortable with that?
If I don't want to have to think to myself that my tomorrow is going to be any less than today because of someone else.
Okay.
So I don't want to think about that. I think of that as instability. So that means where am I going to get my next client or, whatever. And then far away from financial trauma. I think anyone in real estate at some degree has had financial trauma.
Without a doubt. We all have at some point.
And so you just remember, I remember when, and I don't want that when to ever be a tomorrow or a today.
Okay, yeah, because that when is a dark place, and I've been there, and it's hard to come out of that. Awesome, I love that. So for me, wealth building is all of those things. If I had to put an actual definition on it, I would say that it's increasing my assets more than my liabilities continuously over time. And I've had more time to prepare to answer that question than you have, so that's going to be the fancy version. But what it means is that the assets I have now, the money I have now, the properties I have now, those values snowball on their own, and I make more money continuously without doing that much more. I mean, this all does take some work. So the question is, how do people get wealthy? And just shout it out. What have you heard of that people do to get wealthy? Real estate, taking risk, real estate. Investing in companies, okay, so like venture capital type deals, yeah? Stocks. Crypto for some people, it's a little bit of timing and stuff like that. So real estate, it's one of the most consistent ways to get wealthy that we've all heard of. We're all in the real estate industry, and a lot of people get into real estate because they want financial freedom, they want to be their own boss, or some mix of those ideas. And is it the easiest? No. Not at all. Is it the fastest? Maybe. I mean, it depends on how quickly you implement and do things and how hard you work, frankly. But is it the most reliable? I say yes, without a doubt. My returns consistently destroy the stock market, even when it's at like 25% per year. And they pay me in multiple ways beyond just cash flow. And that's why I love real estate. Now, it's not all just about owning rental properties. There are a couple different things you can do. And I want to give you a couple options within this presentation. So wealth building, it isn't getting rich. It's stacking assets continuously and doing things that are going to snowball. And know that effort in equals wealth out. And it's all going to be about what you put into it. And it's hard at first, because it is a snowball, but you have to take actions to get that snowball rolling in the first place. But just know that I was hustling like 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, I joined Brook Group, and I was making the same amount of money in 6 months that I used to make in 1 month at my last job. So by all accounts, I was struggling. I wasn't doing it. You know, I had some things going for me. I had previous rental properties, but if we were talking about just that 6-month period, I was not killing it by any means. And then I dug in really hard in year 1. I sold 31 homes with Brook Group, 21 deals in 23 weeks. That's a training I just put together. It's on YouTube on Reinvest Real Estate if you want to look that up. That's the basis of this whole thing. It all starts with a sales business. So if you're a realtor, it's easy to look at me and be like, oh, well, Lou, you have rentals, and you have this, that, and the other. Yeah, I do. But it all started with a sales business. It all started with taking a leap and getting out of my corporate job and getting free and owning my time. The problem is owning your time is scary. It's like, what do you do with your time? So here's what it is. You need a roadmap, and that's what I'm giving you today. You know, my background a little bit, I mean, some of you guys know me well, some of you don't. I'm not the biggest sales agent. I haven't been on the top 3 at Brook Group in at least 2, probably 3 years. My claim to fame, though, is I've built 3 6-figure businesses in 3 years. I also am really fortunate to get to work with a lot of the top agents at Brook team. Usually in a given month, 2 out of the 3 agents that are in the top 3 are people I get to work with. So I learn from the very best and get to help guide and lead the very best. I have 3 main businesses. I have my real estate sales business, which is just kind of whatever trickles in from previous clients and referrals. I have rental properties. We've got about 24 units. We just sold a couple, so we're flirting with, I think, around 20. And then I also have, you know, revenue share, agent attraction, and the mentor program at Brook Group. So all 3 of those, they each pay me 6 figures or more per year. And that's pretty cool. Now, it's not just about that, and I'm, you know, I swear to you, I'm not trying to just brag or whatever. I feel good enough about myself. I don't need to get in front of her and be like, yeah, look at me. But I want to give you guys a platform to understand what this thing can really be. In the last 3 years, my tax rate was 0.65%, and it should have been 37%. Now, my wife pays taxes that are escrowed through her company and W-2'd and all that stuff, but I paid 0.65%, and you can do the math on what that amount is total, and all this shit is legal. And every single dollar is legally accounted for. To be very clear, I do not take rent payments in cash. I get paid digitally on everything from every rental property. Every closing goes into bank accounts that are tied to QuickBooks, because I don't even have time to play games if I wanted to. And you don't have to. You can all do this in a legitimate way. If you're looking for strategies to supercharge your real estate sales business, be sure to go to Skool.com and search for Reinvest Real Estate. It's a free online community that we created to enhance collaboration in the real estate industry. We believe in collaboration over competition. So there are 3 steps to becoming wealthy, and we're gonna write them up here. Got 1, 2, A, B, 3. So if you guys wanna all write that down, that's it. Those are the writer downers for today. So step 1 is get solid financial footing. So what does that mean? We all have expenses and we all have income, right? The goal with getting solid financial footing is building a solid sales business that pays you predictably. Now, we know that sales businesses have ups and downs. That's part of it. In our path to success is we actually plan for that. We know we'll close 35% of our business in quarter 3 and 15% in quarter 1. So we know we need to plan for that, and we know we need to save. However, if you have a predictable business, you should know you're going to do roughly 7 deals in quarter 3 and 4 or 5 in quarter 1, and all that stuff's going to average out to 20 deals per year, if that's your goal. Now, this all starts with your path to success and consistent lead generation, but I want to take it a step beyond that. So as you're building your path to success, I want you to think not just about your sales business, But think about treating yourself like a business. Think about treating your day-to-day life like a business, and make yourself accountable for every dollar you spend. Sean posted a reel or a story 2 days ago about whipped cream. Do you want to tell us what that one was about?
Oh yeah, I was at Dunkin' yesterday.
It was yesterday.
I was getting hot chocolate, and they were like, "Do you want whipped cream?" I'm like, "Of course. Who doesn't want whipped cream with their hot chocolate?" 50 cents. 50 cents came on the screen. I'm like, this is absolute fraud.
Fraud!
Posted in Slack, then posted it on my story. And I'm not gonna lie, like I got the most slide ups ever on my story. Like I'm not even kidding, like 20 people slid up on it.
That's
And like giving their views of like their opinions on it. And it
Yeah.
made me feel like I wasn't crazy.
You're not crazy. I love it. You're very precise, down to the dollar.
That's actual fraud. When you think about it, how much is a whipped cream bottle? $3?
It's not actual fraud. You should follow a page called The Real Deal if you wanted to learn about actual fraud in real estate and what crazy people do.
It's fraud.
All right, it's fraud. It's robbery, right? Okay. What I love about that, we can all laugh at that, and we can joke about whatever part about that you want to, that he's getting a hot chocolate, not a, whatever, or it's whipped cream, or doesn't matter. What I love about that is Sean is watching. He's paying attention to every cent. He just made, what, 50 grand in a month-ish? 60? I don't know, something crazy. He made some absurd amount of money in a month. He could walk out and buy a BMW right now if he wants to, and he cares about the 50 cents for the whipped cream. And you know what? The 50 cents isn't worth it to him. The value isn't there. So he's not going to do it again, but he's paying attention. Is anybody else watching their money that closely? Kristen Callahan, you do a great job with budgeting.
It's a little bit of that. I think I've gotten to the point now where it's like all the debt has been paid off and I got a good cushion, so I'm not watching the dollars as closely as the 50 cents as I should.
Yeah, yep.
But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a budgeter.
Awesome. Yeah.
I have like right now I have everything paid through until January, like all my bills and stuff. So.
Amazing. What would it look like if you were paid off through the end of the year for the next 3 months, 4 months? Right? That's a different place of stability to be. You know, that's being free for the next few months, frankly. That's what that is. So I want you guys to start thinking about yourself like a business. Think about cash flow. What does a business look at every month? Cash flow in, cash goes out. Hopefully that number is positive. If it's not positive for enough months, business go down, business go out of business, right? That's how it works if you're a realtor too. Think about your life that way, and more importantly, think about your net worth that way. So I want you guys to do 2 things if you're struggling. If you're in this stage, make a budget, figure out what your monthly expenses are and track it. I have a budget. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not tracking it. Probably should be. I've got all my business stuff in QuickBooks, but we don't have the personal. But what we do is we track our net worth. And I strongly suggest that everybody do that, even if you're working on stability. You've got to know what your net worth is. Can somebody just define net worth for me? Simple terms.
Assets minus my liabilities.
Assets minus liabilities, right? So how much stuff do you have that's worth money minus how much do you owe equals your net worth. So I'm going to give you just a really quick equation or version. Let's say you have 10 grand in credit card debt and you owe 10 grand on your car and you have 5,000 in your bank account. What's your net worth? Negative 15, right? So you are negative. So it's easy to look at that. It's negative, that's the point. That's what you need to know, right? It doesn't matter if the math's right. It's a minus sign, not a plus. You're good. You're good. You sell more than most of us, you're good. All right, but the point is, like, okay, so you can think, I've got 5 grand in the bank, I'm good. Well, you're not. Because your credit card debt is going up at 25, 30% per year. And if you've got credit card debt like that, that means you don't have the cheapest car note. Like you're not paying 3%, I don't know what it is, but you're paying money on other people's money. And you've got to get out of that. So look at your net worth and track that stuff and do it monthly if you're kind of in that place of need, or quarterly if you're, you know, a little better off. But frankly, we got to approach ourselves like businesses, and that will translate into your sales business. I promise you. Ask me how I know? I've done it. That's how I got here, is by being smart about budgeting and money and how I deploy it. In our household, my wife's got a great income, super grateful for that. Lets me go out and, you know, play Monopoly. And my job is just to invest the money that I make. And I just have to keep pushing cash out and deploying it. and making the highest yield I possibly can. So I treat myself like a business, and my board of directors wants more money, more passive cash flow. So for most agents, I think 2 deals per month is a pretty good benchmark. That's about 85 or 100 grand per year, the average price point that we run in Connecticut and Rhode Island. And if you're not there, I'm gonna say don't focus on wealth building activities. I don't want you to pay active attention to that part. I want you just to think about the education behind it. Is that good? Here's why. You gotta learn how to walk before you run, right? So you learning about BRRRR strategies and how to make crazy tons of money 4 different ways through rental properties, it's not gonna serve you if you don't know how to run a sales business. You know why? You won't run a rental property business very well either. I hate to say it, you just have to learn. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can get through that learning curve really quickly. So if you're working on stability, learn the framework, get the books. There are a couple books I recommend. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's a really good one. It explains assets, liabilities, kind of starting point for a lot of people with investing. And Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, that's another one. That's a little bit more tactical and kind of helps with budgeting and makes you physically use cash instead of credit cards and things like that to make you really, really accountable. And then I also have a training, like I said, on YouTube, which is how I did 21 deals in 23 weeks. So look that up on the Reinvest Real Estate. YouTube just went up like last week. So yeah, I mean, know that we're in a limitless industry. Like you can earn any amount of money you want to in real estate. Without exaggeration. If you're working in a corporation, you're gonna be limited. There is a ceiling on it, but we don't have that. So you're gonna be limited by your ability, strictly. We get paid in direct proportion to the problems we solve. So how do you do it? Step 2 is create a wealth plan. You need to have an actual framework that's gonna help you earn wealth. So like I said, if you're still working on financial stability, don't worry about this part. Hear it, listen, maybe catch one of the books, but don't work on this. You want to work on just executing the basics of your sales plan. So there are really 2 paths that I recommend that have worked really well for me. The first one is buying rental properties with the BRRRR strategy, and the second one is building business recurring revenue, and that's most commonly done through revenue share or the mentor program on Brook Team. And I went ahead and built these 3 businesses at the same time. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I have shiny object syndrome. When David was asking what your biggest limiter is, that's mine. I'll build the thing and I'll get to 80, 90% complete and I'm on to the next thing and I'm building it and I'm not promoting the last thing I did. That's a problem, right? And I know that about myself. So pick one of these strategies to add to your sales business. Don't let it detract too much from your sales goal, but focus on that. Give it enough attention that you can hit your goals in the year. So here are some actual steps you can take in each one of them. So path A is rental properties with the BRRRR strategy. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. So this is, I mean, it's a strategy as old as time. People have been doing it in commercial real estate forever. It got popularized by Bigger Pockets. They kind of coined this term, but simply it's buying a rental property that is in need of repair that you can add value to, do the repairs, rent it out at a high rate, refinance it, and repeat. So go recycle your cash and go do it over and over again. And I'm fortunate to say that this is what really helped get me where I am fastest, because you make money 4 different ways with, well, really 5 ways with the strategy, but 4 ways with rental properties. I want to see what you guys know. What are the 4 ways you earn money with rental properties? Just start throwing them out.
Appreciation.
Appreciation.
Taxes.
Taxes. Rental income.
Depreciation. Or I guess that goes with the tax.
Yeah. Debt pay down. So you've got your tenants that are paying down your debt. If you bought the property correctly, you're positive cash flow, so you're putting more money in your bank account. You got a budget for everything, including repairs and CapEx. Hopefully you have appreciation. Hopefully the market's going up in value. If you're planning to own an asset for 10 years or more, it's almost guaranteed to be at least on par or going up. And then you've got tax write-offs. And tax write-offs are significant. Like I said, my effective tax rate is 0.65%, and it should be a lot higher than that. With the BRRRR strategy, the added advantage over a normal rental property is you get to recycle your money time and time again. Now, to be very clear, there are some cons to this and there are some pros. So some of the cons, start throwing them out. Anybody? You have to deal with tenants, toilets, termites, what else?
Your money's kind of tied up for a year.
Money's tied up. You have to have a lot of money or enough money to get going, or know people who do and be able to partner. You need to know contractors. You gotta have some guts. You gotta have some serious cojones to do it. And you have to do off-market lead gen. I think we're in a period right now where it is extremely difficult to find properties, even off market. Yeah, do your MLS search, use that as a way to kind of learn the game and learn what deals actually are. But if you're really going to take this seriously, do some direct to seller lead gen for distressed properties. Talk about that for a whole day. I'm not going to now, but know that there's a lot of overlap in that and your sales business. Because if you're talking to a seller and you can't buy the property from them directly or it doesn't make sense, you can always list it because you're a real estate agent. So you can make money different ways off of that. So if I were new, starting out with the BRRRR strategy, what I would do if I were a real estate agent, what I did is I set up an MLS search, 2 of them actually, but I set one up that I looked at both of them every single day. I would make one that has your target property, so maybe it's 2, 3, 4 families and these couple of towns. Make it auto send you emails every morning, so you don't want them to hit your inbox one at a time or you won't pay attention to them. And get really disciplined at looking at that search while you're eating your breakfast every single morning. It was the first thing I did for, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years, something like that. And we did really, really well. We bought some awesome deals that way. We eventually bought most of them off market, but I learned what a good deal looked like by doing that. Then you start to get to a point where you're driving around town and you know what a property costs. I mean, assuming different things about the interior, right? So when you're doing this, you're able to figure out what market you want to be in. So set it up for a couple different towns. You're able to create your buy box so you know what price you can buy at to earn a certain amount of cash flow and rental. And you should be learning about construction and rough renovation costs at the same time. Some books that I would recommend, I actually haven't read it, but I've heard the BRRRR book by Bigger Pockets is good. It's the only one on the list that I haven't read. I kind of learned the strategy through the podcast when they were really early before they ended up, writing the book and stuff like that. But yeah, the BRRRR book by Bigger Pockets is a good one for sure. I've got a rental training on YouTube too. Just talk to me. We've got all kinds of resources. My trainings are up on the Brook Group Hub in Kajabi. I've got a spreadsheet in there. It's like really, really simple. You just plug a couple numbers in and it pops out all the major numbers, all the important facts and figures for you. Any questions on rental property? Yeah.
I'll add a note. So
Yeah.
if you're in the early stages of this, on top of creating your search, I recommend now following up. If you think something's a good deal, run the numbers and pretend you're about to buy it.
Yes.
Find out the cap rate, go through, follow up, call the agent, see if the winning offer was an owner-occupant or an investor. That'll tell you a whole lot more because an owner-occupant will likely be willing to pay more than an investor would. And
Awesome.
follow up and find out the terms of it, did they get inspections? So now that you know that you are ready to offer, you know it's actually getting accepted and who's buying what.
Awesome. All great tips. Anything else to add?
As well,
Yeah.
they tell you, if any of you have played around with stocks, trade paper stocks first. It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
My father taught me that when I was a kid, and he would say, great, we're gonna buy a couple of stocks, and we're gonna buy them just in fake paper, and then we're gonna check it in a month, so we can see where we were, and you could say, why did you buy that stock or not buy that stock? It gets you into the practice of it. Let me ask you this question. If you played BRRRR with yourself for a month or 2 months, do you feel like you would bring some value to an investor in the market, even if you were just helping buyers and sellers? Absolutely. Then once you can do brick by brick, I can do this, I can help another, maybe I can help myself.
And there are no shortage of buyers out there, by the way, for properties, because everybody has different criteria. People will buy different types at different cap rates in the same town and different distress levels. So find the deal and then find the money. That's the best tip that my mentor ever gave me. And when I got that mentality, it just totally blew everything open for me. And I all of a sudden started doing these creative finance deals and doing things that my limited mind said that, oh, I need 25% down for everything. Well, yeah, okay, I did, but I didn't need my 25% down, or didn't have to be from my bank account. It could be from my 401k. We could do seller financing deals. You could do assume loans, all kinds of stuff. So path B is building recurring revenue through a business or revenue share. We're fortunate at EXP that we have the ability to get paid by our company for referring agents to the company, right? When they sell something, we earn some income. There are some pros and cons to this, like everything else. So what are some pros? Money, okay. Pros.
Not that much time invested, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, I have some people in my downline and they're in different states and they have different mentors, and I'm just the main person who brought them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So not a lot of time invested. Passive income. Creating a community, and it's fun too, right? It's free. That's a big one I was thinking. No startup cash. You're just talking to people. And if you're doing it the right way, you're just helping people too. That's the other thing. I've never had an agent get mad at me for helping them too much for free. Like, oh my God, Lou helped me build my sales business too much. Like, it's just not a thing, right? So know that it doesn't have to be as hard as you may make it out to be in your mind. And all you're doing is attracting the agent and putting them in touch with somebody who knows EXP really well, who can explain it to that person and see if they're a good fit or not. Because by the way, I don't just bring any agent I want on. Agent Fast Track only has people who I like, who I'd want to hang out with. Like, that's part of why EXP's culture is so good, is we just don't hire assholes, because who wants to work with them? So what are some cons then to revenue share?
You really can't predict how much you get per month. It really depends on how much they sell.
Yeah. Yep, so your income's tied to somebody else's activity. Yeah, what else? Retention. You gotta kind of plan for that. You know that you're gonna fluctuate in your group size. How about imposter syndrome? I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't sell as many homes as David Brooke does. How am I gonna help the agent if they do more sales than I do? The reality is that the network is big enough that there is somebody who has done whatever that person needs to get to the next level within our organization. Chuck Fazio used to run the largest independent brokerage in the US. He did $2 billion in sales per year. So if you're talking to a broker owner with 150 agents, you could definitely link him up with Chuck, who had 4 times that number of agents, and I bet that one person can learn from the other, as just one example. The last one I'd say is that for a lot of people is they don't want to be salesy, and that's kind of a stopping block for some people. So what do? You just don't be salesy. Like, it's not that hard, just don't be that way. Just be helpful, be genuine, try to come from a place of contribution, and guess what? You're gonna learn more, and you'll get better as an agent. So the process, if I were new starting out at this, I would make a list of all the agents I know, go through your your whatever, contacts app. Yeah, you go through your email, look at the list of deals you've done, just think about people that you like to hang out with and talk to anyway. Pick up the phone, hey, what's up, how you been? Establish a relationship, get to know them over time. Hopefully that will build into a situation where you can invite them to an event. You can be more direct about it. David's got a ton of strategies. I'm not even gonna touch that actually. But basically the process is connect with people, invite, add value, repeat. More conversations equals more opportunities to help other people. A couple books here are Beach Money and Go Pro by Eric Worre. Those are both pretty good. All right, so step 3. Any guesses at what step 3 is once you've done all this? You've made a plan, you figured out your strategy, you got a good sales business, you got a strategy that you want to roll with.
Take action.
Scale.
Yeah, take action, scale. Execute consistently and aggressively are the most important words in that. So I'll describe my investing strategy as conservative aggressive. So I only buy deals that I know have a lot of meat on the bone because things can go wrong. And knock on wood, I've never lost money in a real estate deal. And some people may say that that's because I'm not buying enough and I'm not aggressive enough, and that might be true, but I want the sure thing of hitting at least triples or home runs or grand slams every single time. So that's what works for me. There are people that buy 10 homes per month that don't even look at them, and they know they're gonna lose money on some, but they'll make money on 8 of them, and they do way better, and that works for them, and there are other people who are starting out. But know what your plan is, and execute it aggressively. And that's why I'm saying you've got to wake up every single day and look at deals that hit the market and run numbers. That's the only way you're going to get good at this. So I'll say this, when I'm on, personally, I'm on. And when I'm off, I'm off. And I took off. When Ben was born, I was like, nope, not doing this. And it was the best thing, and it was the most freeing thing for me. So you can't be 1 foot into this game. I don't care if it's revenue share or if it's rental properties. Like, if you're really serious about building wealth, you got to go all in on it. You've got to make it a part of your day, make it a part of your week. There are 3 components here to consistent and aggressive execution. There's mindset, there's the tactical, which is like operational of what do you do, and then there's accountability. So write those down somewhere. You've got mindset, tactical, and accountability. So I'm going to give you a couple systems, or I'm going to have you guys give me systems for what it takes to execute a business. This could be any business, could be your sales business, agent attraction, or rental properties. What are some systems you absolutely have to have in place? Some of them we talked about ad nauseum today. Calendar, awesome. First one on my list. What else?
A goal.
A goal?
An end goal.
End goal.
Goals that go into your calendar.
All right, so an end goal with small actionable goals in between, so business plan, right? Cool. Tracking, awesome.
Discipline.
Discipline, great.
With like the discipline, it goes like timeline for me. I need to tell myself, okay, by this 3 month or this 4 month, I'm gonna buy another rental property, and that's how I do it.
Huge.
If I don't tell myself, if I say, oh, I'm gonna buy one, it's just whatever to me.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. You've got to have a goal. You've got to have an actual plan for what you're going to buy and when. That's perfect. Just like Kristen has a goal for her sales, she knows she has to have, 4 to 6 under contract at any one time to hit her sales goal. It's the same thing, just having this metric that's easy to wrap your head around. I'll add to that, someone that you're accountable to. I think it's pretty critical. A wealthier network is helpful. It's not needed, but spend time around healthier people. If you want to do more deals, get around people that do more deals, and you'll learn stuff. Partnerships are great. They're extremely helpful if they're the right partners. I've been in a lot of different partnerships, and most of them have been excellent. I'll say that. And partnerships can translate into a couple different things. You could obviously, join your money together and buy more things. You could have operational efficiencies where, like, Rob's really good at, he's a contractor, so you can do that whole side of things really well. And I'm good at other stuff that goes into buying rental properties and running them. And it's just a whole heck of a lot more fun. And a couple books I'll give you as tips. The One Thing by Gary Keller and Atomic Habits by James Clear. Those are two that are really helpful when it comes to just general execution and getting clear. I'll highlight The One Thing by Gary Keller and say that that was one of the most frustrating books I ever read, because it was a recycling of some of the information I had just heard in another book, which actually means that it's just the right information if the same people are teaching the same thing. But more importantly, I realized that the one thing I had to do more consistently was lead generate. A goal for rental properties and net worth increase, and a goal for sales. And it was so frustrating. I tried to write down all these grand master plans, and at the end of the day, it just came down to talk to more people who have the type of house that I want to buy or end up selling. That's it. So don't make this any harder than it needs to be, because I absolutely did. So around in the corner here, I want to give you a couple systems, tools, and habits specific to rentals. Then we'll do systems, tools, and habits for agent attraction, and that'll be it. So the BRRRR method, what are some systems that you need for that?
You need capital.
What's that?
You need capital.
Capital, you need money, right? Or access to money. Sure. What else?
Some kind of network for off-market deals.
Network for off-market deals, definitely. Helpful. I mean, what's that? Expense tracking. Yeah, contractors, team to do the work. Awesome. What else?
You need to understand the ARV after you fix it up.
Definitely.
You really understand that.
So you've got to understand valuation really well.
Buy it.
Yep. So you make your money when you buy a deal, right? Every deal works at a certain number. It's just what's that buy number that works for it, and that a lot of it is dependent on like the ARV and how much goes into construction. You need your MLS search with breakfast. You need to run a deal every single day, off-market lead gen. Use my spreadsheet. Like I said, it's really simple. Look at whatever trainings we have out there. This isn't a training on rental properties, of course, but then after you've gone through that, if you have questions, hit me up. A couple books that are really good. Confessions of a Real Estate Entrepreneur. This is my favorite book of all time. It's written by this guy who's an attorney who just turned into a deal guy because he saw other people doing deals and making a lot of money. And I don't know if he did the first, but he did a mill conversion into an outdoor shopping mall back in like the 80s or 90s. The guy's actually from Connecticut, or did deals in Connecticut. I haven't read the book in a little while, but it's extremely inspiring. This guy got really creative. So if you're looking to expand your mindset, Confessions of a Real Estate Entrepreneur. And then another book, Am I Being Too Subtle? It's by Sam Zell. RIP, just died this year. He died with a net worth of a couple billion. He was poor as can be. His family escaped the Holocaust very narrowly, and he built up to a multi-billion-dollar net worth. He had a bunch of REITs in a bunch of different parts of real estate. Awesome, awesome autobiography. So agent attraction, some systems and tools there. What do you need? Consistency. So calendar, consistency, what else?
Being in the right room.
Being in the right room. What does that mean?
Putting yourself in scenarios to meet those people.
Awesome. Networking, being in scenarios where you can meet people. Love that. What else?
I feel like you also have to be like personable too.
Yeah.
And to, like, before I picked my sponsor, I met with somebody else and she was like, an acorn. You know, she's like, I'm not
An acorn?
like her personality was so dry, and then like 6 months after I joined the XP, she's like, hey, did you ever sign up under me? So I was never important to them.
Oh.
So I feel like, yeah, I feel like it was just like.
awesome. That's great. Personality, good heart, hopefully. Hopefully you're in it for the right reasons. And a list, simple as that, just a notepad with a list of agents you know. And if you really want to get into it, there's something called the wealth chart that David might be talking about. It's a really helpful tool to kind of keep track of the different agents that you're working with. So that's it in terms of the systems that I have for you guys. Anything that anybody wants to add from the floor, because I'm not the only one in here who's doing this type of stuff. And this day today is about the collective knowledge of the group. Is there anybody who wants to add anything on these topics? Any suggestions? Beg them.
I love that you talked about the rentals and especially bar. I think I was able to take a big leap of faith this year, quit my corporate job because I got into rental properties. It has truly changed my entire life.
Yeah.
And I really encourage if anyone wants to do it, absolutely do it. I didn't know what I was doing. I learned as I went, made tons of mistakes, but I just learned from it and just moved on. So
Yeah.
buying my first rental bar method, using the bar method, so I'm really excited. Learning a ton right now.
Awesome. That's awesome. Great tip. Jordan?
Just wanted to add, Bigger Pockets is a huge resource for this exact reason. They have, if you're a big podcast person, my thing was finding where my day I have wasted time. So when I'm walking the dogs, I have a podcast in about real estate. And I'm also I know all of Windsor Locks. It's where I live. I walk my dogs every single day. I know each distressed property in Windsor Locks. I'm at the point now where I get leads, Zillow leads. And if they're in Windsor Locks, I know exactly where they are. And I already know, I don't even really need to go see them because they're all cookie cutter houses.
Yeah, if you Google it, you'll find it. Yeah, awesome tip. And so that's how I got started and learned too. I started listening to them. They had a couple dozen, I'm going to age myself. They had like 30 podcasts out at the time. I was in my corporate job driving around between all these locations and just listening to this stuff. And then eventually it became easy enough to do. And again, the book wasn't out on it and there was no spreadsheet. I just did basic math and figured it out. Well, you're in a real estate team of people who, do this and do pretty well with it. So utilize us as resources, but listen to the right things. I meant to say that about agent attraction. Just listen to some agent attraction YouTube videos. I've got a whole list. I can give you 25 right now. They're ranked in order of how helpful they are on a scale of 1 to 10 from an educational standpoint and from an inspirational standpoint. I got all this shit, so just contact me. I'll just give it away. And it's amazing how few reach out about that stuff. I'm just gonna say that. So 3 steps to become wealthy: get solid financial footing, create a wealth plan, and execute consistently and aggressively. And those are the most important words: consistently and aggressively. So I'm gonna leave you with this. Again, I believe more money in the right hands can do more good. There's a quote that I heard from a book by Alex Hormozi. It's a quote that's unknown. They don't know the authorship, but it says, "Whoever said money can't buy happiness hasn't given enough away." Whatever your reason is, whatever your why is, it could be that you just want to earn a shitload of money. That's fine. Have a North Star, have a why, and just get at it. At Reinvest Real Estate, we're committed to helping you go from production to legacy. That's why Elise and I created a free community on Skool, which has tons of resources that'll grow your sales business without your consent. Hop over to skool.com, search for Reinvest Real Estate, and get started.